Hi friends, it's Mark from MT.TrainRestorations. Right before New Year's, right after Christmas. I hope everybody had a pretty good holiday. I certainly did. Just wanted to check in. Haven't seen anybody for quite a long time, and you probably haven't seen me either since February last year. Well, actually February this year probably was my last video. Then we packed up, we moved from Arizona to Pennsylvania. So anyway, after unpacking a lot of stuff, so on and so forth, setting up shop again, I made a couple videos within the last few weeks. I wanted to do another one today, but in the meantime, I just wanted to share with you my workbench. It's not much different than it was before, but anyway, I'm still unpacking, still setting up, getting oriented to the building, and so on. So wanted to share with you. Got a couple Christmas gifts that really come in handy in the shop this year. I got myself a new soldering iron from my son. Has multiple voltages, watts. I mean, it's got a holder. It'll be much better than me having it sit on the table and melt something next to it, as happened in the past. So I like that. I have also got. So I'm going to be building a layout pretty soon on the other side of the shop over here. Haven't got to it yet, but when I do, my friend suggested I get one of these. I got the adjustable pneumatic chair that I could sit on and go up and down, move around, so on and so forth, which was great. So it's going to come in handy, really is. It'll save me trying to crawl underneath there. But anyway, I got that. I got a few other things. My little sister bought me a few used cars at a train show the other day. I'm trying to think, where did I put those things? They're around here somewhere. Let me grab those. I'm going to show you what I got. It's very cool. She knows I like old trains. Let's see here. As you can see, old milk car. To be honest with all the stuff I have, and I do have a lot of stuff, this is the only complete milk car that I have. I have the containers, little milk containers that come out that you put in the top. It opens, put them in there. Got the couplers, got wheels. Looks like the little man is inside. He's in there. It needs a little work. It's filthy, but it's old. I love it. So got that. Got this piece. It's just an old base unit. I think it's American Flyer. I think it's bottom of an old caboose, I believe. The couplers are missing some parts on both ends. I got these parts actually, but the trucks are there, the journals are there, the railings are there, and it's basically in good shape. So I can always do something with that. Also, she found nice piece, Lionel, little bridge, little girder bridge. It's in really great shape. The graphics, I mean, it just needs cleaned, but look at the lettering, huh? It's perfect both sides. So very heavy, all metal. I love it. So I got that, plus I got a bunch of other things. My son bought me a TV for down here and a sound bar for I can watch football or whatever, baseball or whatever's on at the time while I'm working, listen to a game, which is very cool. So other than that, I got a lot of little goodies that I need for Pennsylvania climate, you know, boots, shoes, and gloves, hats. Oh boy, I had to put them to use already this week, the past week. It's actually almost 60 degrees today, which is the 30th. And this time last week with the wind factor, it was 30 below. The high temperature of the day was like 5. So coming from Arizona, that's kind of a shocker. Even though I lived here before, I was gone 22 years. Now that I'm back, I'm rethinking why I came back, other than family. You got to come back for that. Since I retired in Arizona, no use staying there. I'm not working anymore. My wife retired, so on. So we're back here, enjoying family. I had a lot of family over for Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm sure some people will come here tomorrow for New Year's Eve. I don't even know. They just show up, which is great. We didn't have any family out in Arizona. A lot of friends. I miss them all. But what I like to do the most when I'm not working on the house or working outside or shoveling snow or whatever, I like to tinker. I like to fix things, run things, so on and so forth. So let's get into a video I'm going to do today. I'm going to step away back here and get set up, and I'll be right back in a minute. Hang in there. Okay, I'm back over at the bench, which wasn't very far to travel. So today I wanted just to show some folks. I had a couple requests over the holidays, emails, that, hey, you know, how do I convert a old smoker, which is one of these that took the pills, the little pills. How do I convert that don't work anymore to liquid, which is some of this stuff. So I thought I'd do a quick little tutorial here, see if we can get one done, show everybody how that's done. Oop, wire just came right off. Not any good anyway. So obviously you can see 2 wires were sticking out of here. Positive, negative side, which is, you know, for grounding. That's why they have this little copper tab sticking out of the old style. Let me see if I can show you. Here's one. This is what's inside this container. It's got a little copper strap that sticks out. Well, all this is a wire, is a winding that goes all the way around this material, which is almost like a little piece of porcelain. Very hard, and it's glued to this piece of mica, which is kind of heat resistant. And it's one end of the wire here, the other end here, almost like a field coil or a coil for an E-unit. You know, that anything that creates a heater element is what this is. And the pill would drop through the hole onto this element, and as it reached temperature, it would melt, it would smoke. It would burn this pill and make the smoke. So obviously these are still available, I believe, from Jeff up there at the train tender in New York. I think he still has these parts. So you can repair yours. So I kind of show you how to get into this, and you could repair by replacing this if that's what's bad. You can check continuity from one end of the wire to the other. These wires are so fine, they sometimes just break, they burn through. They're so old and brittle. So anyway, that's that part. Here's another one. It's in bad shape, and it's pretty nasty inside here. But you can see these both have the hole inside here, which is set up for a piston, a little metal piston that drives that. Let me get one here. That goes inside, and it goes up and down. And it puffs smoke, it pushes air. There's a little hole in here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole inside here which comes up through, and every time this pushes air up, it pushes air into this chamber, and it pushes the smoke out through the top of the engine. This is operated by a mechanism connected to the drive wheels of the locomotive. All are different. Different model trains have different types of mechanism to drive this. Here's one. This connects inside near the drive wheels, and it would go up and down, and it would drive. Let's see if I have another one here. And what else I got? I got this. This is very similar to that. This is very similar to that. I don't have a complete one. This one is slightly different. It goes through the axle. This is hit by the wheel coming up, pushing that in there, and so on. And it would work like that. So, like I said, there's a lot of these that are a little bit different. But the main point is today, you should be able to take your locomotive apart. I'm going to bring this one into view. This is a motor that I worked on last week on a couple videos. The smoker was already there, mounted onto the motor, and the mechanism was here, and it was just like this. It was burned out. It didn't work. So I converted it over to the liquid, which I'll show you here shortly. But like I said, you're going to find different types of plungers on different type of motors. So anyway, let's see if we can dig this one out and get in here. And you'll find that these caps do come out. They're stuck down in there fairly well. Sometimes people solder them. So we're going to see what we got here on this one. You have to kind of clean out the groove where they go together. You can see how much stuff is built up around here from the smoker. It's almost like plaster. You dig all this out around. This has to all be cleaned off anyway. The wire is going to be discarded, so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to try to get this off and dig out what's in there. You're going to find that there's a lot of nasty stuff down in here. But anyway, let's see how far we can get with this one. Sometimes these are a bugger. It takes a while to get these open. I don't want to waste a lot of time with you fighting one. Here we go. Looks like it's breaking loose here a little bit. Ah, there we go. All right, so nasty. Look at that, nasty inside. So we can hang on to that, but it's just an extra part right now. Unless you're going to replace the innards with the original type of smoker, you don't need that top anymore. We're going to replace that. I'll show you why. So this is nasty, nasty, nasty. So we're going to get that. Now remember that little tab that was folded over? Here it is. Here's that little copper strap for the negative side. Here's the positive side. You can see all the buildup on it. That actually gets down inside here. The little mica insulator that's heat resistant came off. This one's not too bad. I mean, I had some that were full. You couldn't even get that out. You had to like chop it out. So what we're going to do is clean this up. We're going to discard this for now. I'm going to save this just in case. It's a spare part. We'll put those over here and so on. Move these out of the way for now. Yeah, we're going to clean this out. And I'm going to get my Dremel tool in here. We're going to clean that out as best we can. And we're going to see what happens here. Clean this outside off. We want to get it down to the metal, nice and clean, best we can here. It's got in here even. It's down in here. Stuff get everywhere. probably 60, 70 years worth of smoking. That's what happens, I guess, to your lungs. I don't know. I'm not a smoker, but it doesn't look like I'd want to be. I used to when I was a kid. You know, kids are back in those days, trying to be cool. Well, I quit a long time ago. Long time ago. I might as well throw a little bit of up inside there, clean that out. So, what do we have? I'm going to grab a dental tool here and just see if there's a little bit of remnants left over. Just clean all that out. There's a little bit of stuff underneath there. It's not a big deal under here. Not a big deal in there. Just blow that out of there. So I'm doing it this way just to show you that these are different on different motors, as I said. You can do this without taking it all apart. I mean, if you have yours, if you take your body off of the motor, take the shell off, get to this part where it's either connected here, they all seem to connect differently. Some are screwed down to the frame. Take it loose, pick it up where you can work it in your hand. If not, you can take this off, pry it off like I did while it's mounted. It's more difficult because you need more hands, but you can do it while it's in place. I did this one while it was in place. That wasn't that hard to do, but I did have to chisel it out and so on and do the same thing. I'm going to show you this. I did a connection right to the body for ground, just to try it out, because I don't have the shell, obviously. I have a boxes full of motors like this, and not always have the shell. So as I fix the motors, get them running, and if there's a smoker on it and it's defective, I fix that too. I'll replace or fix, or whatever is needed on the E unit. This one runs well, forward and backwards. The smoker now works, as you can see. Since I put the smoker in last week, there is a burn spot in there from heating up and burning the liquid. That's what I use this for. So anyway, back to this one. I'm going to show you how these go together. So anyway, online you can buy the kits. I bought 3 kits last week, and they came in. They give you 3 of these, which is called the Pac-Man. I call it the Pac-Man. It fits in here. Just push it down in there. I mean, it's made to fit different types. There's some that are a little bit bigger around, but just push it in there. If you need to trim a little bit, you can do that. It's just a cotton pillow. It's underneath the element. It kind of absorbs, and it'll hold on to the material, the liquid, and so on. And you just tuck that in there, just like that. And then the element would go in, and they give you these plastic domes. Fits over top. I mean, these are good. Good to have these. And there's 2 holes in it. Actually 3. The big one, obviously. There's a small hole over here on this side. I don't know if you can see it that well. And there's a bigger hole over here. Reason being, when you put this over top, this one here, this one I took apart, this old lid fit over top. A lot of the lids that on some of these old smokers, they fit inside. You can see this one fit inside, just like that. And it's a little deeper, and this one fit inside. So these lids are universal, but the container is not. The container, some will have where it fits inside, and some will have where it fits over top of. So it should work on just about every Lionel smoker. So don't get excited if you get these and you say, oh my, it don't fit inside. Now what do I do? Well, it fits on the outside. and it's a pretty snug fit. There's no pressure on it. Excuse me. So anyway, back to getting this set up. There's the hole that lets the air come through. When the plunger comes up and pushes air into here, it's going to push smoke out. So the kit comes with, as I was saying, a Pac-Man, a plastic lid, an element glove, an element cover. It's like a wick. It's the element wick, whatever you want to call it, and a piece of shrink wrap. There's also a washer, a spacer's washer, and a spring. If yours is missing a spring, this spring would be for here. Again, a lot of these have a spring in them that push down as the mechanism pushes up. They also come in the kit. Not all of them need them. There are many of these that have a spring mechanism of some kind already. As you can see, different ones have different springs. The one I have in here, the spring is loose. If I pull this all apart and drop this out, there's a spring just like this inside here. It's loose, it doesn't connect. You just put a shut up in here and you push this plunger inside of it, and once it's on the little paddle, it keeps it together. So that's what the kit comes with. Now, this washer is meant to go on top. Some engines have a space above. They want you to put this between the shell and the smoker. This would go up here. So when you're putting the body back on this one, if it requires this washer, it's just a piece of, I don't know, some kind of fabric. It's kind of like insulation. It's an insulator. So it goes on top. You can glue it a little bit, put a little bit of sticky on it, make sure it sits in the right place. You can put a little bit of sticky on here to make sure it stays in place when you put them together. That's up to you. The one I have, the shell that would go with this, I don't think it has a spacer available that it had originally. So anyway, back to this. So what we're going to do, you want to be able to bend this and get it through the holes. So I'm going to put the sleeve on here, the wick, and we want to bend this kind of nice. We don't want to snap them off or break them, wiggle them back and forth too many times. Give it a good 90 bend right at the base, right at the end of the element. Just give it a 90 bend best you can without wiggling it too much. Same thing on this end, because the space it's going to need to fit is through here. So as I said before, either end could be positive right now, because this power just goes right through it and back out. It's like an element in a light bulb. So this is what I did here. This is what you can do as well. This was an existing wire for the smoker on this one, and they had a longer wire that was just taken and connected to nothing at the time. It would have been connected to the frame or the shell or somewhere where you can pick up the ground. So I just shortened that process. I used my Dremel, sanded off a little piece down to bare metal here, and soldered it on. You can do that if you want. You can take it and make this wire longer, take it somewhere else to ground it, and connect your power there, and there you go. So that's where this comes in. Now you could use it or not. Obviously the canister that this is in is going to be metal, so you don't want it to hit. What you can do is put this on either side, push it all the way on, right down to the element. So you can see, let me get this closer here. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. I'm going to pull this back. I want you to see, I want to get this right up against right up against the element. Then it's shrink wrap, so heat it up however you heat up your shrink wrap. I use a hot gun. I just use a heat gun and heat that up all the way tight. I'm not going to do it here because I'm not going to probably use this right away, so I'm just going to leave it loose. But that just want to heat that up till it shrink wraps around there nice and snug. And so once that's done, like I said, we're going to put that through the bigger hole for the shrink wrap side, and then there's a smaller hole for the negative side without shrink wrap, and just push those on to through the cap. Snug those up. These caps have a little indentation in them on both sides. Let me show you that. You probably see it. If you get the kit, you'll understand what I mean. There's two little pockets, and the element kind of fits in there kind of snug, kind of nicely. So hopefully you can see that. So with that said, whoop, this is in there. You want to snug it in there. The shrink wrap actually keeps it from touching anything it shouldn't until we're ready to go. You could hold that in kind of snugly and bend these into the direction you want to go, and then that way everything is kind of lined up already. So the air is going to come up through, the element's going to rest on this little pillow. Tuck it down in there. We want to give it some room for the element, and it's going to go on here like that. Press it on, and that's it. You'll see, I don't know if you can see down in the elements right in the center. The little hole for the air is right behind it, and we just want to make sure this is down and snug. You could put a little glue around it if you feel necessary. If it doesn't bite tight and get a good fit, you can do that, and then you're ready to mount this back or put it back onto your motor if you took it off, or it'll be ready to go for connecting to hot, connecting to negative, and then you're all set to put this back together. If necessary, if it calls for this on your engine, you put that on, and then you put your shell back together as required. If you want, like I do, I test them before I put them all together. You could put a few drops in it. What we're going to do here, it doesn't take a lot, maybe 4 to 6 drops. Get the wick saturated, and what excess, excuse me, that's left over will go down on the little Pac-Man, and it'll hold it there, and it'll actually keep the wick somewhat wet as it burns it off. So that's it. That's kind of it. It's not real difficult, and it took me, what, 10-15 minutes to show everybody how to do that. Like I said, you can disregard these. You can actually get these again if you want to put it back the way it was. You can get these new, same principle. They fit inside the pot. You connect the ground wire to the strap, and then you connect again the hot line to the other end. Of course, it's hard to see here. This is pretty destroyed. And then it should work with the pills if you have any. I have several bottles. Each one has an odd amount in them. This has maybe 20, 25. This one here, petrified over the years. It was a full bottle, but you can see all the pills kind of expanded, kind of blew up. And now it's, when you open it, it's only powder, which is okay. I use a little scooper and put the little bit of powder down inside the engine chimney, the stack, and it's enough to heat up, and it smokes. I have a couple engine that still uses the pills, and I have some that I converted. So hopefully this helped. It's not that huge of a deal to convert these from powder to liquid, And I hope you know, you learn from doing this, from watching this video, and take on that thing, take on that task by yourself, and do it. Make it happen for yourself. The kits aren't expensive. I think I got 3 kits for around $14, something like that. $14, $15. And like I said, you get all the parts you need. And it works with all smokers. You can see where this one, if I took this one apart, this fits inside of the container like that did, and this would fit inside of that same space. So like I said, either it'll fit outside or inside the container. And I don't know if this one still works or not. It may. I've not tried it, but if you want to test them outside of the shell, take the shell off, get some alligator clips or wire, or however you run your transformer, and you can hook these up, negative, positive, give it, I don't know, 12 volts, 13 volts. The more voltage you give these smokers, the faster and hotter the element will get. That's why they kind of ask you to, if you run an engine all by itself with no tender, no cars, it's going to take a little bit for it to start to smoke, and smoke well. What they'd like to see is have a locomotive with a tender, maybe 4 or 5 cars, give it a load to pull. It's going to require the motor to work harder, requires a little bit more power, so you're going to give it a little more voltage to get it to go around pulling all those cars. That's when the smoker works its best. When it has a load on it and you have 12 to 13, 14, 15 volts on here, that will really smoke well. So that was it for how to replace the old powdered smokers with liquid. And you can get this liquid online. It's available on eBay. There's all kind of flavors. I tried some of them. Some of them are good. Some of them are kind of nasty. This one is just smoke. I just got smoke because I tried pumpkin and it didn't smell like a pumpkin to me. It smelled like, I don't know, it was kind of overwhelming. And I tried pine. Pine is not bad. If you have a Christmas tree and you're going to run a train under the Christmas tree, you might want to get some pine juice for the smoker. So we're going to take this one on the track. I put some fluid in it. I'm going to put this one on the track, and we're going to do a test run on it, and we'll see if we can get it to smoke. I had it smoking before, worked okay. We're going to try it again. So hang with me. We'll be right back in a moment. Okay, we're at the test track. We're going to see what happens here. We put a little power to it. Whoop. I'm going to leave it in neutral for a second. Give it some power. And let's see what happens. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. So, with that said, that's without it moving. Now the plunger is up in the air. Let's see here. I'm going to cut the power down a little bit. And let's see if we can get it to... There, see, there's a puff right there. There's a puff right there. Look at that. So it's really going to work well for you. Yeah, that works pretty good. So you can see, you just put it in neutral, put it on the track, test it out, see what you get. You should get smoke within, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. And then once you start going around, it's going to puff reverse or backwards, or excuse me, reverse or forwards. And yeah, it works very well. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, comments, please share them with me. My email address is MT.TrainRestorations@gmail.com, which is over here. Take a look at that. That is my email address. So please send me something, comments, if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see a video of something being repaired or fixed, or you need help with something, feel free to contact me. Until next time, folks, Mark from MT Restorations signing off. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Have a safe New Year's and be careful out there. Talk soon. Bye-bye.